Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhujis and Matajis. This is a very sweet bhajan. Today is Radhashtami. Happy Radhashtami to all the devotees that have joined the call. So on this occasion, this is a very sweet and special bhajan for in the glorification of Shri Radha. Jaya Radha Girivaradhari, Jaya Radha Girivaradhari, Shri Nandanam Vrishabhanu Dulari, Shri Nandanam Vrishabhanu Dulari, Vrishabhanu Dulari Radhe, Vrishabhanu Dulari, Vrishabhanu Dulari Radhe, Vrishabhanu Dulari, Jaya Radha Girivaradhari, Jaya Radha Girivaradhari, Mora Mukuta Murali Jodi, Mora Mukuta Mukha Murali Jodi, Peni Raje Mukhe Hasi Thodi, Peni Raje Mukhe Hasi Thodi, Jaya Radha Girivaradhari, Jaya Radha Girivaradhari, Unaki Galivana Mala, Unaki Galivana Mala, Inaki Moti Mala Ujala, Inaki Moti Mala Ujala, Jaya Radha Girivaradhari, Jaya Radha Girivaradhari, Pitambara Jagat Janamana Mohe, Pitambara Jagat Janamana Mohe, Neela Udhani Bani Unaki Sohe, Neela Udhani Bani Unaki Sohe, Jaya Radha Girivaradhari, Jaya Radha Girivaradhari, Arunacharan Manjira Baje, Arunacharan Manjira Baje, Shri Krishna Dasa Tahi Mana Bhave, Shri Krishna Dasa Tahi Mana Bhave, Jaya Radha गिरिवरधारी जया राधा गिरिवरधारी श्रीनंदनंदन वृषभानुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूनुसूnusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusunusu वृषभानुदुलारी वृषभानुदुलारी राधे वृषभानुदुलारी वृषभानुदुलारी राधे वृषभानुदुलारी जय राधा गिरिवरधारी जय राधा गिरिवरधारी 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 जय राधा गिरिवरधारी राधा गिरिवरधारी जय राधा गिरिवरधारी जय राधा गिरिवरधारी 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 राधा गिरिवरधारी।
Let's see the translation.
All glories to Srimati Radharani and Girivaradhari. He is the son of Nanda Maharaja. She is the darling of Maharaja Vrishabhanu. He wears a peacock feather in his crown and a shining flute is placed on his lips. Her long braids appear brilliant and she has a gentle smile on her face. Wearing a garland of forest flowers, his neck is splendorous. Wearing a shimmering pearl necklace, her neck is splendorous. His yellow garments enchant the minds of everyone within the universe. Her blue garments display a brilliant effulgence. Jeweled ankle bells resound on their reddish lotus feet. The mind of Krishnadasa is illuminated by their splendorous presence. Krishnadas Maharaj ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Hare Krishna. So let's start with the prayers, seeking permission from our acharyas to start the class. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakhaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathānvitam tam sajivam sadvaitam savadhutam parijana sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Rest of the shlokas you can sing along with me. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatiyam Udayam Nashtasayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Krishnaya Vasudevaya Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namah Pankajanaಭಾಯ Namah Pankajamadine Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangre Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaura Krishe Namaha Namo Brahmanyaya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Apavitra Pavitro Vasarvastanga Vasmare Pundarikaksham Sabhya Bindakati Sri Pundarikaksham Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Hare Krishna. Pranam, thank you very much, Prabhuji Mataji, for attending the class today. It has been a while that I did Srimad Bhagavatam class, so I was thinking what topic I should present, and been contemplating for a while. And just recently, last week, we have been to Tirupati, and I thought maybe I should talk about Tirupati and Lord Venkateshwara, the pastimes of Lord Venkateshwara, and hopefully I will do a justice on what I have learned on that. So we'll go into the details of the pastimes of Lord Venkateshwara, why he appeared on Tirumala, and what is the story. How many people know the story of Lord Venkateshwara? Actually, maybe I ask the other way around, because Lord Venkateshwara is so popular. How many people don't know the story of Lord Venkateshwara? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Maharaj, can you hear me?
Sure.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Yeah.
So everybody.
So I just want to ask, how many people don't know the story of Lord Venkateshwara? Maybe that is where I can find out.
I know only a few part of it, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Correct.
we also know only part of it, so it would be great. Prabhuji, if you...
Hare Krishna. Very good. Thank you very much for your answers. I want to make it as interactive as possible, so I'll be asking questions. So please feel free to unmute and speak up. It'll be nice to hear all of you.
Can you just unblur the background? Mataji is visible.
Yeah.
Blur in the video.
Yes. So there's a lot of
okay,
it's okay. A lot of things in the back, so I just go back a little bit here.
No, this is okay. This is okay.
Yes, this should be fine. So yeah, as much as possible, I tried to gather the information. And if there are any mistakes, please forgive me as if you forgive my servant maid. And I'll try to do justice to this topic today. It's not a Bhagavatam class. I'm sorry for that, but I just want to talk about Lord Venkateshwara because it's fresh off our mind. And we've been, it's been a while. We have been there a few years. So I want to talk about the glories of Lord Venkateshwara.
Anyway, you are glorifying Lord only, bro. No.
Hare Krishna.
Anyway, you are glorifying Lord in the other form.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna. So let's start let's start with that. And this is a beautiful picture of Lord Balaji. And whoever has been, how many people have visited Lord Balaji? Or maybe the other way around is asked, how many people didn't visit Lord Balaji? Anyone who have not gone to Tirupati? I'm assuming everybody once at least would have gone to Tirupati, correct?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, very nice.
Yes, Prabhu.
The Archa Vigraha, this is the Archa Vigraha of Lord Balaji. See, I'm showing the background. Be mute. Okay. So this is Archa Vigraha of Lord Balaji I'm showing in the picture. And it's a beautiful 7 feet tall Archa Vigraha. And, you will be mesmerized to visit the Lord Balaji when you go there. There won't be any lights inside the Garbhagudi, the Sanctum Sanctorum. Only ghee lamps will be there. They'll be showing the Archa Vigraha. And if you are lucky, maybe you are going to visit. If you are visiting during a seva, then you will see Aarti or some kind of puja. But otherwise, most of the times, he's standing there and giving darshan to all of us. So the story starts like this. Actually, this story is part of Puranas written by Vedavyasa. It is not. It is part of Puranas. There are Puranas called Sthala Puranas, and this is one of the Puranas that is written by Vedavyasa. And there is a pastime of why Lord Venkateshwara appeared in the Bhuloka, especially in the Tirupati area, Tirumala, and what happened there. So just like Srimad Bhagavatam, the inquiry again starts in the Naimisharanya. The sages ask Suta Goswami, who was present when Shukadeva Goswami was telling Bhagavatam. Again, the same thing. They ask this very inquisitive question. Oh, Suta Goswami, please tell us who is Lord Venkateshwara and why did he come to this Bhuloka? What was the purpose? And the question also was he had 2 wives, Lakshmi Devi and Padmahati. And what is the story of Padmahati? You know about Lakshmi Devi and why he had 2 wives. Please tell us. And they very inquisitively humbly ask him. And Suta Goswami explains the story. And that's where we are getting this pastime as well. So once upon a time, there is Narada Muni, who is visiting. He's a visitor to all the lokas, Brahma Loka, Vishnu Lokas. He goes to everywhere. And his job is to propagate the Harinam and also go and pay obeisances to all the gods. And of course, Lord Brahma is his father. So he goes to Brahma Loka one day and he sees Brahma chanting Vedas from all 4 heads. All of you know, right? Brahma has 4 heads. And each head emanating one Veda. And that is culminating into one syllable. Which it says Narayana. Each head is emanating one Veda, which is culminating into the sound of Na. One head is saying Na, one head is saying Ra, one head is saying Ya, and one head is saying Ya, Na. So together it is emanating the sound of Narayana. He is chanting the names of Narayana. But he looks a little gloomy and it is bothered. Narada Muni could figure it out. And he asks Lord Brahma, oh my father, what's bothering you? I see that you are a little bothered. in your face, I can see that gloominess. And Lord Brahma says, "Oh Narad Muni, I know, oh my son, I know you know that the primary creator of all this Sakala Charachara Jagat, what moving and non-moving, is Lord Narayana, and I'm a secondary creator, which is being given this job of creating, each of these, this Bhuloka and then all the living entities. But, I'm seeing that these living entities on this earth are really suffering, always having problems, and they're like the Khalaya Mashashvatam, they're really suffering the cycle of repeated birth and death, and they're not able to come out of this. And my heart is really bleeding with compassion. And what do I want? I want the Lord to appear and help the living entities, right? And all of you know the famous sloka from Bhagavad Gita, that why Lord appears on the planet. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkrutam dharma samsthapanardhaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So three purposes, three reasons why Lord appears again and again in the millenniums. And the primary cause is paritranaya sadhunam. He wants to please his devotees. And secondary cause is vinashaya dushkrutam, to punish miscreants and people who are troubling his devotees. And third one is to establish dharma samsthapanardhaya. So again, the first reason is the one, he wants his Lord Narayana to appear to help all the suffering people in this world. And who else can help do the job than Narad Muni? So Narad Muni sets out on a mission to have Lord Narayana appear on this planet Earth, and he knows, with the help of Lord Narayana, he knows what's supposed to be done, and he is on a mission to get this work done. So what does he do? He goes to the ashrama. Okay, before going there, I just want to refer to a shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 33 chapter and 36 verse. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham dehamashita bhajate tadrisha krida yah shrutva tad paro bhavet. Very beautiful shloka from 10th canto, which explains the Bali Leelas of Krishna's appearance. The translation says, when the Lord assumes a human-like body to show mercy to his devotees, he engages in such pastimes as will attract those who hear about them to become dedicated to him. And Lord Venkateshwara's story is a very apt adaptation to this shloka, right? He engages in pastimes, in such a pastimes like Lord Venkateshwara's, and he comes on earth that will attract millions and millions of people, and they get dedicated to him, right? So, can somebody read the purport, please? Can you see the purport? Can somebody read the purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll read it.
Yes, please.
Srila Jiva Goswami explains in this connection that when Lord Krishna descends to this world in his original two-handed form, out of kindness, he manifests that form in a way his devotees conditioned in human society can perceive and understand. Thus, here it is stated, Manusham Deham Ashritaha. He assumes a human-like body. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura glorifies the Lord's conjugal pastimes, stating that these romantic affairs have an inconceivable spiritual potency to attract the polluted hearts of conditioned souls. It is an undeniable fact that any pure or simple hearted person who hears narration of the loving affairs of Krishna will be attracted to the lotus feet of the Lord and gradually become his devotee.
Yes, Hari Bol. So very nice sloka, and it can be adapted to any appearance of Lord Krishna in any form. When you hear his pastimes in the stories, the reason why we need to do that is our heart will melt and we get attracted to Krishna, and that's what we want, right? At the end of the day, we all are trying to have the attraction to our spiritual father, Lord Krishna, right? And hearing the pastimes, visiting dhams, all these things will really attract our heart to his farm, and get out of this cycle of birth and death, which is what is really bothering us. So now coming back to the story. So the story is a little bit intricate. There will be a lot of going back and forth, and I want all of you to pay attention to this because sometimes it's little. So attentiveness is really is what I would like you to have, so that so that you can all get the essence of the story. So Narada Muni hears his father's what's bothering his father, and he wants to solve the problem. And he is doing that by the order of Lord Krishna, who is in his heart. And he knows he is getting the information from Lord Krishna and what needs to be done. So he goes to Bhrugumuni's ashram. Bhrugumuni is one of the munis, and he goes to his ashram, and there are a lot of saints in the munis and rishis who are doing a lot of sacrifices, fire sacrifices there. And he goes and asks, "Oh Rishi Munis, what are you trying to do here, and who are you trying to please?" And he asks each one of the rishis, and one says, "We're trying to do this to please Lord Brahma." One says, "We're trying to please Lord Shiva." Another says, "We are trying to please Lord Vishnu." And he goes around and asks, "Oh, really? You're trying to do for all these three. Who is the greatest of all?" He just asks. Just to start the conversation with them, and then get into the story of this. This is the starting point of the pastimes, and there is nobody could say the answer to it. Everybody is perplexed, and they were really trying to think in their mind. Who is the greatest of all? Because it is a pastime that is created to kind of get into the story of it. So. And then there is Atri Muni, who is sitting there. Atri Mahamuni is the one who is presiding the whole sacrifices, and he's also one of the munis and in the Rishi Parampara. And he's the one who knows that all three are very powerful. But Narada Muni intrigues all of the rishis to find out who is the real greatest of all three. And everybody, all the saints and rishis, sitting there says, Bhrigu Maharshi is the only one that can do it. Bhrigu Maharshi has the power to visit all the lokas, including Vaikuntha, Brahmaloka, and Kailasa. And in person, you should go and find out who is the greatest by doing a test to all the three. And who is Bhrigu Muni? Bhrigu Muni is another son of Lord Brahma, and his father is Brahma. So everybody says, Bhrigu Muni has to do this, and he has to go find out. To the inquisitiveness of Narada Muni. So Bhrigu Muni sets out to go on this mission. So first he goes to Brahmaloka, and as soon as Brahma sees him, he welcomes Bhrigu Muni because he's his own son. He goes very affectionately to him and says, "Oh my son, oh dear my son, please come. How are you?" He'll ask all those things, and he wants to really talk to him. But Bhrigu Muni, sees that Lord Brahma didn't welcome him like a Brahmana supposed to be welcomed, and then with proper etiquette. So he gets angry. That's one of the qualities that Bhrigu Muni has. He really gets angry very fast, and he gets angry on Lord Brahma, and he curses him. "Oh Brahma, you don't know the etiquette of pleasing a Brahmana and welcoming him properly. So I curse you because of your inattentiveness. I curse you that there won't be any temples for you anywhere in the Bhuloka. And that's why you don't see any temples for Brahma anywhere. That's one of the reasons." So then he sets out to Kailasha. So next is Kailasha. So he goes to Kailasha, and as usual, Lord Shiva is engrossed in the Tandava dance with Ma Parvati. It's not that Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva doesn't know the purpose of this visit. So they want this pastimes to be really going through. So he's engrossed. So Lord Shiva is engrossed in the Tandava Nritya, and he acts as if he's not attentive to Bhrigu Muni. And Bhrigumuni waits for some time. He doesn't see Shiva, coming to him. So he curses Lord Shiva, saying that, you will not be worshipped in any form like your form right now. You will only be worshipped in a rock form, in a Shivalinga form. And he curses, and you'll be worshipped as a stone, and then moves on. So one thing to note, Prabhuji's Matajis, in this is you cannot criticize Lord Brahma and Vishnu, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva here. I mistyped here. By doing this, because they know the purpose of Lord, of Bhrigumuni's visit and what is plotting here. So they want the answer to be coming from Lord Vishnu, and they want the pastimes to continue. So they know what's going on, and they're just playing the role to have Bhrigumuni visit Lord Vishnu to start the pastimes of Lord Venkateshwara. So then Bhrigumuni continues his visit, and the final visit is to Vaikuntha. And in Vaikuntha, Lord Vishnu is nicely in the Yoga Nidra, and Lakshmi is massaging his feet. And because he's in Yoga Nidra, he didn't notice Bhrigu Maharshi, and Bhrigu gets really, really angry because he already got 2 times, inattentiveness, and 3rd time he couldn't take it anymore. He directly goes and just kicks on Lord Vishnu's chest, which was like, really. And then immediately Lord Vishnu wakes up, and the one who is really angry with this situation is Mata Lakshmi. And, she's just looking at the situation and trying to see what's happening. And Lord Vishnu wakes up and really apologizes, the Bhrigu Maharshi, and says, sorry, I didn't notice you. Sorry, it might have been very hard on your feet. And he tries to pacify Bhrigu Maharshi and tries to massage his feet. And the Lakshmi Mataji is very upset with this. And she says, the place where I reside, which is your chest, is where he kicked you. And I'm very upset. And she just leaves Vaikuntha. While Narayana is taking care of Bhrigu Maharshi. And you can see in all 3 situations, the greatness of a person is ascertained by how well he keeps stable in provoking situations. Like you can see the provoking situations that are put under Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and how Lord Vishnu is handling it. And this is to start the pastimes, right? That's why. And then also Bhrigu Maharshi, there's also a pastime that says, it's not told in any Puranas, but in movies you might have seen that it says the reason for his angriness is because he's a 3rd eye under the palm of his feet. And while massaging the feet of Bhrigu Maharshi, Lord Narayana presses it and takes away that eye, and Bhrigu Maharshi gets into senses, and he knows what kind of mistake he has done, and he begs for forgiveness, and Bhrigu Maharshi is forgiven. But by that time, the damage is done. Mata Lakshmi is very upset, and she leaves Vaikuntha. And she says, I can't be living here where the residing place of my, the chest of Lord Narayana is kicked by a rishi, and I cannot, and there's so much of insult to my Lord, and I cannot live here. So she leaves, and she leaves to Bhuloka, and it's said that she goes to Kolhapur, the place where Kolhapur Mahalakshmi is there, and starts tapasya. And Lord Narayana doesn't know where she went after this pastime is over. And then he doesn't know where he went. She went, and he follows to find out where Mata Lakshmi went. And he also follows her, and he's wandering around in the Bhuloka, and both of them are performing tapasyas. She's performing tapasya in Kolhapur, and he's wandering in the area of Tirupati, where the Tirumala hills are right now. And he goes under an anthill and keeps doing his penance. Okay, so now both Lord Vishnu and Mahalakshmi are in the Bhuloka. They're doing tapasyas. Now, we have to, the story has to continue, right? So Brahma and Shiva, take the responsibility to continue the story. They come down to Bhuloka, and they become a cow and a calf. And they are wandering around. So one of the cowherd boy looks at the cow and calf, and he says, oh, this is a nice gift that I can give to my king and queen. And he takes the cow and calf and gifts the pair to the queen. And the queen takes the cow and calf and puts them in the Koshala. And she appoints a special cowherd man for this cow and calf because they look very celestial and with a lot of effulgence. And she appoints and says, like, take care of this cow and calf. This cow and calf are part of the big Goshala, but the cowherd man thinks, this cow has to give a lot of milk. But every day the cow comes, he tries to milk, no milk is coming. There's no milk at all. And he is really suspicious and he wants to investigate what's happening. So one day he follows the cow into the forest and he sees what's happening. This cow goes onto an ant hill and drops all the milk through the hole of the ant hill. And now he understood what happened. So this cow is giving all the milk to some place and that's why it's not giving milk. And he gets very angry. And from the bushes, he throws an axe. And Narayana, who is under the anthill, who is also Govinda, who is a protector of cows, comes out and stands in front of the cow so that the cow is not hurt. His forehead is hurt with the axe and the blood spills all over the place and it spills on the cow, both cow and the calf, and he's hurt. The cow is full of blood, from Narayana's forehead. The cow goes back to the queen and the king, and cow is shouting, Amba, Amba. And the king notices it and then follows the cow to this place. And then sees that at the moment the cowherd boy sees the blood, on the cow and this Lord Narayana coming out of the until he gets fainted. The king comes back and sees the scene and sees what's happening. And Narayana, curses the cowherd boy and the king to become a ghost. So he says, like, I didn't do anything in this whole story. The queen took the cow and calf. She is the one who appointed a cowherd boy and left the cow for grazing. And this is what happened. I had no part in this. So Narayana says, it's also told in Puranas and our Vedas that any spiritual activity done by husband, solely the 100% of the result goes to the wife. The relation between husband and wife and how the calculations work is like this. So if the husband is very pious and he's doing a lot of spiritual activities, even if the wife doesn't do anything, the entire result of that, that activity goes to wife. Whereas the other way around, if the husband is very sinful, nothing goes back to the wife, right? That is how it is, the activities. And similarly, if the wife is very sinful, husband gets all of it. The husband gets all of it, and that's how this equation is. So that he explains it to the king, and he gives a benediction as well, saying that, okay, fine, in the next Janma, he'll be born as a king called Akash Raj, and you will see what is his story, part of the story, going forward. And this story, so now when Narayana is out of the anthill, he has his wound on his forehead, he's wandering around. Now let's see where he goes. So there are two parallel stories going on here. One is, the story of Vakula Mata. I'll tell you who is Vakula Mata, and then we'll come back to Akash Raj. So as you know, Mother Yashoda had the fortune of really observing the complete pastimes of the childhood pastimes of Krishna. And at the age, I think 10 or 11, Krishna and Balaram leave Nandgaon, they never come back. Everybody is waiting, never come back. So, and he, of course, after going to Dwaraka, he gets married to Rukmini Devi, and Mother Yashoda is deprived of a marriage ceremony. A mother really would like his son to get married, and she playing an important role. So Mother Yashoda is deprived of that ceremony. So she asks Lord Krishna, saying that, please give me that benediction so that I can see your marriage, or maybe so that I can be part of your marriage, I can do your marriage. So he tells, okay, in one of the pastimes that I'm going to come back as Lord Venkateshwara, you'll be born as Vakula Mata and you will marry me. So when he's wandering around, he goes and then he reaches this ashram of Vakula Mata, who is on the top of this hill. And this hill, the hill area where the Tirumala, the top of the hill, is called Adi Varaha Kshetra. What is Adi Varaha Kshetra again? When Lord Varahadev enacted the Lord Varaha appeared on this planet to save Bhumi Devi. After finishing the whole avatara, he came and did penance in this area. That's why it's called Adi Varaha Kshetra. And if you remember, when whoever goes to Tirumala, the top of the hill, he's a Kshetra Palaka. He is the guardian of that whole hill, the 7 hills. So first you need to visit him. There's a temple of Adi Varaha with Bhudevi next to the Koneru, the pond. And first you need to go visit him, take permission, and then only you can visit the Lord Venkateshwara. So Adi Varaha, it's called Adi Varaha Kshetra. So Vakulamata is staying on this hill area. She has a ashram and she's waiting for Lord to come to fulfill, her desire. So Lord Narayana, who is called Srinivasa, by the in this pastime, he is called Srinivasa. He reaches her ashram and she receives him, and he has all he's hurt and he has blood all over his forehead. So she takes him into the ashram and takes care of him, and then puts lepan, and then he's resting. So that pastime is going on like that. Let's keep it aside and now come back to Akash Raja. So that the king has born as an Akash Raja, and in nearby area, he's a Raja of Chola dynasty, and he's plowing his land one day, and while plowing his land, he finds a big box that is stuck to the hull while he's plowing the land. And he takes the box out, he opens the box, and he sees a beautiful small girl in the box. And her eyes are like beautiful petals of lotuses. And the Akashvani comes and tells that, take this girl, make her as your daughter, and raise her as your daughter. And, he didn't have any sons or daughters, so he takes care of the baby girl, takes her to his kingdom, and names her Padmavati because she has eyes as lotus petals. Padmavati is her name, and so Padmavati is being raised by Akash Raj, and Lord Venkateshwara is there in Vakulamata's place. And Padmavati is growing, and she becomes little big, and she's very beautiful. Everybody knows that she's very beautiful in that kingdom. And Srinivasa, one day, so while Padmavati and her consorts, they're playing in a garden, and a big elephant, a mad elephant comes running into that area, and everybody gets afraid, including Padmavati. And Lord Srinivasa, observes that and comes to the area, and the moment on a horse, and the moment the elephant looks at Lord Srinivasa, it calms down and goes away. So everybody, looks at Lord Srinivasa. He's very beautiful, handsome, and Padmavati looks at Srinivasa. Srinivasa looks at Padmavati. The first look, the moment he looks at Padmavati, he is pretty much attracted towards Padmavati. So he goes back, and he tries to approach them, but the consorts are very much afraid of him, and then they pelt stones at him, and again he gets hurt, because thinking that he's going to come and hurt them. So he goes back to Vakulamata's ashram again with hurt forehead, and he's also a little bit upset. And Vakulamata observes that he is very much upset. And he is little gloomy that day. So Vakulamata asks, what's the problem? What happened? And he explains the story that he has seen this beautiful girl, Padmavati, in this garden in the Akash Raja's kingdom, and he wants to marry her. So the Vakulamata takes in charge of this marriage. She goes to Akash Raj and asks the hand of Padmavati to get him married to Srinivasa, and that's how the marriage is fixed. And so the marriage is fixed, everything is fine, and now they need money. So let's hold on there. We'll come back to the marriage ceremony a little bit later. But let's understand who is Padmavati. Because we know about Lakshmi Devi, who descended because Bhrigu Maharshi kicked Lord Narayana and she's doing penance. But who is this Padmavati? So if you remember, in Ramavatar, in the Treta Yuga, actually what happened is, before Ravanasura tried to kidnap Sita, there is an avatar of Lakshmi called Vedavati. And Ravana was after her at some point of time, before the pastimes of Lord Rama. And when he was after her, Vedavati lights a fire and goes into the fire to escape from Ravana. Hare Krishna. There is a little bit of disturbance. Okay. So Vedavati is an avatar of Lakshmi Devi, and she strikes a fire and goes into the fire, when Ravana was chasing her. And when she goes into the fire, Agni Deva takes care of her, and he gives the responsibility of Vedavati to his wife Swaha Devi. He says, take care of Vedavati, until there is some other pastimes to come, she needs to be taken care of. So Vedavati is in the protection of Agni Dev and Swaha Devi. Swaha Devi is his wife. So now, coming back to Treta Yuga, the time when Ravana tries to kidnap Sita, right? The Lakshman Rekha is drawn, and then he comes begging in the form of a saint. At that time, actually what happened is, as soon as Sita recognizes that it is Ravana, she strikes a fire and goes into the fire. Because, the Sita that is taken by Ravana is not the actual Sita. It is Vedavati. So, and Agnidev from the fire gives Vedavati back into the place in the Parnashala, and she exactly remembers like Sita. So Ravana doesn't know the difference between Vedavati and Sita. He thinks Vedavati is Sita, and he takes Vedavati to his Lanka, whereas actual Sita is protected by Agni Deva and Swaha Devi until Ram finds Ravana and kills him. So the real Sita never went to Lanka. That's what everybody should understand. Who went with Ravana is Maya Sita. It's called Maya Sita and Vedavati, who went with him, who resembles Sita exactly, and goes, and she's the one who's sitting in the Ashok 12 years until Rama came. And that is why when Rama killed Ravana and he's about to take Sita back, he asks her to take a fire test, Agni Pariksha. A lot of people think, this is unfair. Why did he ask to do that? The real reason for that is to get the real Sita back and send Vedavati back to the place she belongs to. So when Vedavati takes that, when Vedavati goes into the fire, that's when Sita Devi is given back by Agni Dev intact to Rama, all the while protecting her. So you can see that is the reason, that's where the Vedavati and Sita are swapped. And when Rama and Sita go back and Rama is coronated, Sita asks a boon to Rama. Oh Lord, when Lord Ravana kidnapped Vedavati and took her, she has to bear so much pain and austerities for the 12 years with Ravana. I want you to give a boon that I want you to marry Vedavati, because she also did a lot of penances and she underwent so much tapasya. So Lord Rama says, yes, I will do it, not in this avatara because I am a Ekapatnirata, but in another avatara, another pastime, I will marry her. And that is what is happening now. That is the Vedavati that is found by Akash Raj in this story. And that is the Vedavati that becomes Padmavati. And Srinivasa is going to marry Padmavati in this Venkateshwara story, right? So she's also an avatar of Lakshmi, who came for a purpose, so that we can all, visualize Padmavati and Srinivasa Kalyanam and get the benefits of it. So that is a story inside the story. You are all getting it? You are all understanding this? Any questions? Any Anything? Everybody is able to follow the story?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So that's where the marriage is starting now, and Lord Srinivasa Venkateshwara needed a lot of money. Lord Brahma, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, all the demigods come to the marriage, and he needed a lot of money to get married, because he didn't have any money. He's just wandering around in the forest. So he goes to Kubera, and Kubera is the minister of finance, and he asks for money, and Kubera gives a lot of money. It's like millions of gold coins for the marriage. So he uses the money, and there is an agreement between Kubera and Lord Srinivas. Kubera says, the lot of money has been given to you. You need to pay me interest, right? There's a lot of money that has been given, so you need to pay a lot of interest. And so much money is given that it is said that even now, Lord Venkateshwara is still paying the interest. And that is why when people go to Tirumala, they give a lot of, money to Lord Venkateshwara, and he is the Lord that gets a lot of money, right? And all the money is going towards interest. It is said that it is still paying the interest. So that is the pastime of Lord Venkateshwara. So let's see some visuals, some pictures of Tirumala and how it looks. So these are hills. The Venkateshwara is called Edukodala Swami because there are 7 hills, right? There are 7 hills, and you go climb on these hills, and Venkateshwara is sitting on the top of the hill, and he's also called Govinda, Venkateshwara, Srinivasa. Lord Balaji is called Balaji. There are 3 ways to get onto the hill. One is 2 ways are walking. One is through Alipuri, and Alipuri is the gate where you can start walking. It's normal, everybody walks there. It will take up to like 4 hours to walk. Another one is Srivar Mittu, which is the backside of the hill. That is a little bit more steeper, but it is faster and takes shorter way. The third way is you can take a taxi or a bus on the top of the hill. It takes almost 1 hour to get onto the hill. So this is the Utsav Murtis that are used to do regular sevas every day. So every day, a lot of sevas are performed, starting from Suprabhata Seva. And then, there is Kalyanam every day done for Lord Balaji. Venkateshwara Srinivas Kalyanam every day done. There is evening, there is Sahasradeepa Alankarana Seva, Unjal Seva, they put him on a Uyala. So, and then they take him around the temple. Brahmotsavas are coming during the time of Dasara, and it will be jam-packed there. Those are the utsavas that are done. Each day, Lord goes on different Vahanas. Surya Vahana, Chandra Vahana, Simha Vahana, Garuda Vahana. Every day one Vahana he goes on, and then Anjaneya Vahana, things like that. And this is how the Lord looks, and the Padmavati Devi looks like. So on the right side is Lord Venkateshwara, around 7 feet high, and nicely bejeweled crown, and then the huge Tirunamam you can see, and on his chest you can see Lakshmi Devi and Padmavati Devi, and then he's standing, showing his lotus feet, so that you can all take darshan. And on the left side is Padmavati Devi, and she's on the bottom of the hill. She's not with the Lord. I'll tell you the story why. She's in Tiruchanur, in Tirupati, and she's giving darshan there. So after the marriage is over, Padmavati Devi says, I'll only come to you when your debts are cleared. I know that you are indebted to Kubera for a lot of money. Only when the debts are cleared, I'll come back to you, to stay with you in Tirumala. So that's why she's staying down and he's staying up. But in theory, Ma Lakshmi is always there on his chest. You can see here. You can see my cursor, my mouse. So both Lakshmi Devi and Padmavati Devi are on his chest, and they're there already. But Padmavati Devi says, I will be here under the hill in Tiruchanur. It's called Alimelmangapuram. So after visiting the Lord, you must visit Ma Alimelmanga Padmavati downstairs in the below the Tirupati area. It's 5 kilometers from the Tirupati thing. And this is the most famous picture that everybody might have seen already. So this is how temple looks. This is the main Gopuram. And on the back side, you can see this is the Sanctum Sanctorum, and it is plated with gold, 24 karat gold. And when you go inside, you will see that very nearby, and you can see the hills behind you. And it's very famous, very popular, and very powerful dham. And if you're not been, I request you to visit Tirumala once. It requires some preparation and planning. I'll also talk about best ways to plan for Tirumala. One thing that everybody is worried when going to Tirupati is the queues, the people. So many number of people visit Tirupati. Almost, in busy days, 80,000 to 1 lakh people visit a day. So one of the biggest problems they have is crowd control. But still, they are able to do it and making everybody visit the Lord. They have so many mechanisms they have put in place so that everybody gets darshan of the Lord. But still, it gets crowded. And a lot of people worry that there is a lot of queue, but there are ways that you can plan your visit so that you can have peaceful darshan. So I'll talk about it going a little forward. So don't worry about the queues, because this shloka from the Suprabhatam says that not only we are in the queue, but all the demigods are in the queue, right? So I'll read this shloka, very nice, one of the verses from the Suprabhatam. Sri Swami Pushkarinika Plava Nirmalanga Shreyordhino Harivirinchi Sanandanadya Dware Vasanti Varavetra Hatottamanga Sri Venkatachalapate Tava Suprabhatam. So all the verses come like this. Sri Venkatachalapate Tava Suprabhatam. The first one starts with Kaushalya Suprajarama Urva Sandhya Pravartate. This specific verse says Brahma, Shiva, Sanandana, on all these people, they have taken their bath in Pushkarini and they are very pure and they are waiting near your door. How are they waiting? They're waiting even when the Dwarapalakas are hitting on their head with a stick, saying that, move, move, move. There are so many people coming to darshan. Just like how we are being pushed. If you go inside the Tirumala Sanctum Sanctorum, you can see that there are 4 or 5 people, the volunteers standing there. They won't let you stand for a minute. They'll say, keep going, Jaragandi, 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 Jaragandi. So you can see that it is not only for us. All the demigods are also being pushed, saying Jaragandi, Jaragandi, because Lord Venkateshwara is so powerful that the Mukkoti Devatas, the 3 crore Devatas are in the queue, it seems, for his darshan in the morning. And they are being beaten up by a stick. Jaragandi, Jaragandi, Jaragandi. So we don't need to feel bad about it. And, we can really see how the crowd is, including the Mukkoti Devatas. So it's very nicely explained in this shloka. So they're all waiting, it seems. So Lord is being woken up in the morning saying that, see, Mukkoti Devatas are waiting. Everybody is waiting for you. Please wake up and give darshan. Right. So now the next part of the session would be a little bit interactive. I want to ask you a few questions. You have seen other forms of Lord, and you have seen Venkateshwara here in this picture. Can anybody tell what are the 3 or 4 distinct features of Lord Venkateshwara and the reasoning behind it? So you can see the picture here. If you know, you can tell. And if you don't know, you can guess and tell me. Can anybody tell 3 or 4 distinct features of Lord Venkateshwara? Please unmute and please tell, so that we can have an interactive conversation here.
His tilak covers his eyes.
Yes, that is good. Tilak covers his eyes. Any other things that you observe?
Prabhuji, here he has Abhaya Hastam. Generally, we'll have club and those things in hands, right? But here he...
Very nice, very nice. Abhaya Hastam, you observed it very nicely. Okay, anything else?
Chin.
His chin.
Huh?
His chin is covered.
His chin. What about his chin?
There is something put on that chin.
Yes, very good, very good. Mataji, one more Mataji is telling.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Even on the chin, that Karpuram is put, Prabhuji, like that is to cover his wound, I think. When he got hurt.
Very nice. So, you know,
And,
Mataji, what is the story behind it? Why he got hurt on his chin?
that crowbar, with the crowbar, a cowherd man, I think something like that.
No. I'll tell a bit. Okay, but very good observation. Very good observation, and it is
Yes.
a wound.
And
that is,
also one more thing, Prabhuji, the Abhaya Hasta, one Hasta is showing his feet just to show us everyone that we need to seek his feet.
Haribol. Who, Mataji, who is this? I couldn't see the name of you.
My name is Sarada Mataji. Prabhuji, I keep attending Subbarao Garu classes. Like I'm part of his group.
Haribol. Very nice, Mataji. Very nice
And
observation.
one more thing is that the Senka Chakra are placed on his shoulders, no, Prabhuji. That is linked with some Ramanujacharya's story, Prabhuji. Like.
Okay. Do you know the story, Mataji? Do you know the story of that?
Ramanujacharya I heard, but I'm not able to recollect it exactly. Like there was some, some argument between Shaivites and Vaishnavites regarding the deity at Lord Tirumala, at Tirumala. So, like Ramanujacharya proved that this deity is of Vishnu and it's not Shiva. And so one night, he prayed to Venkateshwara that he has to prove himself to all the people that he is Lord Vishnu. And the next morning, this Senka Chakra appeared over his shoulders. So that proves that he is Lord Vishnu. That was proved by Ramanujacharya.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice explanation of that.
Yes.
Great. Very nice. You talked about the Abhay Hastam and then showing the feet. That is correct. So, Suma, you told about, thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Suma, you told about the Tirunamam covering his eyes. Do you know why it's covered? Anybody knows? Anybody can tell? Why he has a big Namam and why is it covering his eyes? Okay. Any other things you see? Any other distinct features you see here? Prabhuji Mataji, I'll explain all of them, but probably maybe you can tell me any other things you observe here. Okay. I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and tell all the distinct features. Okay. The first one, as very nicely told, Tirunamam. Tirunamam is a huge Namam you will see, and it is made of Karpura, camphor. And it says, the reason behind it says that our spiritual practice with tilak, our tilak that we wear, should close the eyes so that we don't see faults in others, right? You know, Lord is telling us, use your tilak to kind of not see faults in others, right? You know, close your eyes and not see faults in others. Whereas Lord Jagannath is, kind of telling us, make your eyes as big as to see even a smallest and slightest good thing they do. Lord Venkateswara is telling us, don't really try to see faults in others, and by closing your eyes. And Lord Jagannath is telling us, use your big eyes, open them wide, so that you can see even a smallest good thing that they see. So that is one thing. And on Thursdays, only one day, they'll remove the Tirunamam and they'll put a nice small Namam. We have observed it, and then it's called Nijarupa Darshanam. On Thursday, they remove all the ornaments and they show the full form of Lord Balaji, only Thursdays. Second distinct feature, Varada Hastam, correct. It is showing his lotus feet. He's telling us, take the shelter of my feet, to cross the Bhavasagara, right? He's very, very clearly saying that. Third one, the left hand, you can see that it's very distinctly placed on his knee. You don't see that anywhere else. He placed his left hand on the knee like this, right? Showing that if you take shelter of my feet, the Bhavasagara, where you are in, will be just knee deep to cross. It's very easy for you to cross. Otherwise, it's very deep for you to really cross over. He's very clearly saying, if you take the shelter of my feet, the Bhavasagara, the ocean of this material world will be just knee deep. Don't worry about it, is what he's saying. Fourth one, yes, wound on the chin. And there's a story behind it. This is related to Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya is the major acharya who came and established so many Agama Shastras in Tirumala. And he is the one who established the deity worship, the Vidhana, the way to give, to wake up the Lord, the Bhoga offerings, how to do it, and different sevas. And he's the one who established thoroughly. And when he established the whole thing, he did one thing. He has a disciple called Anantacharya. He's also called Anantalvar. And he put in charge of Anantalvar in Tirumala. He told, grow a garden of flowers so that every day my Lord gets fresh flowers from you. So Anantacharya took it very seriously. He went behind the hills and started a nice garden. And he was so protective of his garden that every day he used to water all the plants, and the fresh flowers, fragrant flowers were being sent from Anantalvar's garden to Lord Balaji every day. And one day he sees a small boy coming to his garden and playing around, stomping on the flower trees and all this stuff. And he gets very, very angry. And he sees that somebody is coming to the garden every day and trying to steal the flowers. And he is not able to notice who it is. One day he kind of does jasusi. He kind of investigates and hides behind a bush and sees a small boy is coming and stealing flowers. So that day he want to kind of catches him red-handed. And the boy tries to run away. So he throws a crowbar at him. And he couldn't catch him, but the crowbar comes and hits his chin. And that chin starts bleeding, and he runs behind that small boy, but the small boy goes into the temple and disappears. Anantacharya says, okay, I'll find you in the temple somewhere, don't worry. And then he goes around, looks around all the places he couldn't find. He will open the sanctum and sees that Lord Balaji is bleeding at his chin. Then he realizes, oh my God, this small boy is none other than Lord Balaji, and I hurt him. And he pleads, forgiveness and begs forgiveness, and he takes chandan and applies on his chin. And from that day, you can see that regular, part of the regular decoration. Lord Balaji has also given a chandan on his chin. That's what you see. So these are the distinct features of Lord Balaji. So with all this, Lord Balaji, Venkateswara is telling us two things. And of course, these are the slokas from Bhagavad Gita. Very, very important slokas. One sloka that everybody knows, but I want to repeat it here. Sarva dharman parichandya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami masucha. So abandon all duties, abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Lord Balaji is telling us, showing the feet, saying that surrender unto me lotus feet, and I will take care of you, and I will help you cross over the ocean of the Bhavasagar. And he's telling how to do it in 9.34. How to surrender. What do you mean by surrender? How to surrender? Man manava bhavat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam ivashisi yukta ivam atmanam mat parayana. How to do that? Engage your mind always thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So he's giving the solution as well. He's telling, the way to surrender to me is think about me all the time. Worship me. Become a devotee. Become my devotee. Wherever you are, think about me. Think about all the forms and pastimes of me. Visit my dhams. And surely you will come to me. And that's how you will get out of this cycle of birth and death. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained how the Bhavasagra will be knee deep, how it will be smaller. It is explained. 10th canto, 14th chapter, 58. Shamsrita ye pada pallava plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavam budir vatsa padam param padam padam yatve padam natesham. This is very much quoted by Srila Prabhupada in many pravachanas, many discourses. Padam yatve padam natesham. The translation says, for those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of the Mura demon, the ocean of material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoof print. Lord Balaji is telling us it won't be as big as a knee deep, and Lord Krishna is telling us it won't be it will be as small as a calf's footprint, which is very, very small, and crossing over is just a jump over it. The goal is Parampadam, Vaikuntha, the place where there is no miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step. So Lord Krishna is telling in 10th canto, come out of the miseries, take shelter of me, surrender unto me. And if you do that, the entire material nature would be the size of a calf's footprint, and you can easily cross over, and you will be out of the miseries. So these 3 shlokas give us assurance that once you take the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, you can cross over the material world. So that concludes my presentation about Venkateshwara Swami. I'm going to give a little bit more tips on the visit and how you can do it more better. So as I said, you must visit Varaha Swami temple before visiting the temple. But in case you go take a train and then you have a slot of 300 rupee ticket, so the way it works is you go to Tirumala Tirupati website, you book the darshan, well in advance, almost 3 months in advance. Like last week we went and I booked it in June. So you book the darshan. Once you book the darshan, they'll allow you to book accommodation on the top of the hill, and you will they'll give you a slot. They'll say on a particular day at a particular time period you should come and visit. So 12 o'clock they will give the slot. You go to a particular place and show your ticket, and they'll enter you into a queue and you go, right? So sometimes it is not possible to go to Varahaswami because you are very near to your slot. So inside the temple, inside the Sanctum Sanctorum, on a pillar there is Varahaswami. Even if you visit that Varahaswami before visiting or before taking darshan of Lord, it is fine. But you have time, my advice is to first go to Varahaswami temple and then visit the main Sanctum Sanctorum, because he's the Kshetra Palaka. Strongly advise, avoid weekends. Don't go on Saturday, Sunday, or Tuesday or Friday, because those are the most sought after days. Go in the middle of the week, Wednesday or Thursday are better. Take a time off, take a day off, and then go. And then book in advance. Yeah, Thursday also. Wednesday is the best day to go, because a lot of people, this middle of the day, schools are going, kids in the classes, people have work to do. So try to book on a Wednesday. Book in advance. Don't just plan that I want to go next week and then go. It won't be very pleasant experience. Sometimes you will get free darshana, but it will be like almost 12 hours. Sometimes 1 or 2 days as well. Sometimes it takes. So yes, I'll tell. So the other way is if you go to Tirupati and climb the hill on foot, you will get a special entry ticket, and there also you'll get a shorter darshan. So if you're able to, you can do that. Last 3-4 times, I and Suma with family, we did walk, climb the hill, and then you will get a special shortcut darshan because you have done austerity. You can do that. If not, I strongly recommend all of you to book in advance, for your darshan. So darshan ticket is on 300 rupees, and you book that. You can book accommodation as well in different places. They'll give you accommodation. That also has been booked in advance at the same time when you book the darshan, and then book your travel like train or flight. That's the sequence. Make sure you have darshan ticket, accommodation, then book your train or flight, and don't do the other way around. There are sevas that are available, like in the evening 5 o'clock there is Sahasra Deepalankarana Seva. They make the Lord sit on a uyal, and then they put around 1,000 lamps around him, and they do there 2-3 people come and they swing him, the pujari swing him, and then you can sit and take the darshan. And after the darshan, they'll make you, and they'll take you for darshan of the real Lord inside. So it's included in the ticket. So 2 people can go, like wife and husband can go on darshan. So second darshan you can avail. You can also book another 300 rupee ticket if you want to go another time, because most of the times it's just a glimpse. You go and come out. So if you want to go another time to fulfill your heart's desire, you can book another ticket new day. Plan for 2 days, 1 day for Tirumala on the top of the hill, because it will take 1 day for you to darshan and visit other places around. Next day is for the downhill, Tirupati, because you have to visit Mahabalipuram, and there are other places I'll tell to visit. So 2 days kind of visit is recommended most of the times. Other temples to visit, definitely Mahabalipuram, Padmahati Devi, you must visit this place. And there are two more Venkateswara temples downhill. There is one Lord called Prasanna Venkateswara Swami in Appalai Gunta, and you can see the difference. His hand is not down; it is up, and he's giving Abhay Hasta here. And these temples are less crowded, so you'll be able to see the same Balaji, big Vigraha, very pleasantly. You can nicely sit and chant. You can. It won't take more than half an hour to go and come back. So plan for these. There's a place called Appalai Gunta. You can take a taxi and then ask him to take you there. Called Prasanna Venkateswara Swami. You can visit this place. Another place to visit is Mahabalipuram, and Lord here is called Kalyana Venkateswara Swami. And it is advised that whoever is meaning to get married, if you visit this Lord, he'll help you get married. So it's why it's called Kalyana Venkateswara Swami. So you can visit again. This place is very much less crowded. You can have very pleasant darshan of the Lord, the same big Lord. It will be 7 feet like Lord Balaji only, and you can visit Kalyana Venkateswara Swami also. So with that, it's almost 8:35 now. I will stop here.
I have.
Yeah, and Suma wants to tell something. So why the name Venkateshwara? Venkata. Ven means sins. Kata means cutting through. Venkateshwara Swami means the Lord who cuts through all our sins. And then he is Ishvara, of course, Lord of Lords. That's why his name is Venkateshwara. Venkateshwara. It's like Vem actually. It's not Ven. Venkateshwara. So let's all chant once. Om Namo Venkateshaya. Om Namo Venkateshaya.
Om Namo Venkateshaya.
Okay. So Sima wants to tell something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to share a few things that came to my mind while I was there actually. It is said that while in Dham, first of all, we all have heard this from Lilananda Prabhuji also. He keeps saying that Dham should be visited with Vaishnavas. Other devotees with us make a very big difference instead of going alone by ourselves, just our family like that. That is one thing. And second thing, Dham does not, we cannot see the Dham unless Dham reveals itself to us. These two are very true for any Dham, and same with Tirupati also. It's very important to remember and know the Sthala Mahatmya before we go there. This is also something that His Grace Lilananda Prabhuji only repeats a lot of times. We need to know where we are going, what is the significance and importance of the place before going, so that we are able to overlook the unimportant things, right? Overlook the unimportant things. We don't want to see the dirt there, lack of whatever we may find. We rush there, people not being very polite for whatever reason. Jaragandi, they'll literally grab your hand and pull you away from from wherever you are. All of these we will be able to not give importance to if we know the importance of the place. That is very important. Even when you are in that long queue of never-ending queue, there are queues that run up to 10 hours to 20 hours sometimes. People sleep there, and there are waiting rooms after rooms after rooms. And when you are waiting, sometimes they bring hot upma, hot milk, because like number of hours are going by waiting to get the darshan, and they TTD, the Tirumala, Tirupati, Devasthanams, that they realize that the devotees need to be given some food. It's been a long gap. So you do get that. When you are in that line, and when we are in that line, and we remember that 33 crore demigods are also in the queue, that sort of reduces our pain, comforts us, right? So it's very important to know the significance of the place before going, so that we can only see what needs to be seen. And the real darshan, this is also Lilananda Prabhuji says, but he quotes from Shastra actually. There is a Shastra. or some senior acharya that he heard from, that he repeats, Lilananda Prabhuji keeps repeating that darshana is not us seeing the Lord Shiva. Right? Darshan, we took very good darshan of Lord Balaji, we said. Actually, it is wrong. The real darshan is when Balaji sees us. So we should do something and we should go in the mood and the consciousness that Balaji wants to see us. It's not us seeing Balaji, it's Balaji seeing us. Right? That is very important. All these things are very helpful to overcome the difficulties and austerities that are inevitably associated with any holy dham visit. Going to holy dham is not equivalent to going to Ooty, Kodaikanal, Goa. You can book a 5-star hotel, just land there in the plane, and your comfort and convenient visit starts. Whatever you do, visiting holy dham has inevitable difficulties associated with it, irrespective of all the planning you do, all the bookings you do. You took care of so many things, because holy dham does not want to reveal itself to every Tom, Dick and Harry that is coming there. Sorry to use the Tom, Dick and Harry instead of devotees. Right? We are all trying to become devotees. Doesn't mean just because we visited Tirupati we become devotees, right? We are trying to. And holy dham does not want you to see the holy dham as is. So those difficulties are part of the design, actually, part of the design. In one of the lectures that I heard from the Metpalli temple president, His Grace Narhari Prabhu, he used to do Dandavat Parikrama of Govardhan. Any of you who have done Govardhan Parikrama know that it is like 26 kilometers, takes like 6 hours of, like 3 times of Tirupati climbing. That much time it takes. And he does it doing Dandavat. He bows down, prostrate, obeisances, gets up, bows down again, gets up, bows down again, gets up, like that. It takes a long time, actually 7 days or 8 days it takes. And once he was doing that and it started showering. Huge rains. And if you know Vrindavan, all the drainage is open there, open drainage. All the drainage overflew. All the filth, dirt, everything came onto the road. And His Grace Narhari Prabhu didn't stop. He kept on doing, drenched in that drainage filth. Right? So I'm not saying all of us should do that, but we should always remember when we are facing difficulty in a dham, we should remember the devotees who go through such a length, such an austerity to begging and praying to the holy dham to reveal itself. Right? Otherwise, what do you see? You see open drainages and a lot of pigs are there. Wherever open drainages are there, there are pigs. And pigs are pigs, never very clean or anything. If we want to see them, we'll see them. That's what we see. We don't see Vrindavan. We see open drainage and pigs. Like that, a few years back, much before I came into Krishna consciousness, when we were working in Microsoft Redmond, Seattle, US, my manager, who is a Spanish man actually, his name is Gabriel Esparza Romero. His dream has been to visit India. And I was just coming to India for 3 weeks visit, and he said, you know what, I'm going to visit India this soon after you come back, I'm leaving. Then I realized, I remember thinking, okay, I should help him, have a very nice visit of India. So when I came to Hyderabad, I searched in bookstalls and sort of bought some places, top places to visit in India, typical materialistic books that are there. I bought two of them with India maps and everything. And then when I went back, I gave those books to him, and I said, maybe you'll be able to choose your places based on this, because they were going to go free roaming once they entered India. They hadn't booked anything. So I thought those books will help. And I told him something which I don't know why I told him, but I told him that if you go to visit India, wanting to see that hugely populated places, Russia's, it's one of the highest populated country on the planet, and poor people, beggars, dirt, lack of sanitation. You will see that only. If you go to see these things, you will see that only. But imagine this. It's one of the oldest countries on the planet, oldest histories. Anywhere else outside India, even if something is 100 years old, they treasure it like something very unique and special. For us here, we live in 100-year-old houses, right? Paddataya is there on the call. Her
Yes.
house, the house that she is living in must be easily 100 years old. It's not like a big deal. So I told him the speciality of that country is its culture. Old culture that is preserved even today. The temples, all those things, if you go with that kind of a consciousness, you will not see the population, beggars, and people trying to cheat you, the auto fellow. It's really 100 rupees, but he'll take like $5 from this white guys because he knows that he can get more from them. And that's much more than what he should be taking. So you go to see that, you will see that, and go to see that. You're going 10,000 kilometers, going diametrically opposite to the earth from where he is coming from. And he came back. He actually was here when the bomb blast happened, and the Bombay bomb blast happened. He had visited Taj Hotel just the day before the bomb blast happened.
26/11.
Yeah, 26/11, right? He keeps saying that he'll never forget his India visit. Then he came back and told me, you know what you told me helped me more than the books you gave or all the searching he had done on internet to plan his India visit. And he has spoken to so many Indian friends and gotten the recommendations on places to visit. But he said one thing it really helped was what you said. And I asked him, what are the two places that you loved? He said, number one, he went to Varanasi and he saw Ganga Aarti. And this man does not know that, importance of river Ganga, the story, whatever, right? And why we do Aarti, what is the meaning of those fires and those chamaras, chatras, he doesn't know anything. But as the Aarti started, he started crying, it seems. Tears started rolling down. And this is a white man, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. Remember, a man with no background crying at Ganga Aarti. And any of you who have been to Varanasi and watched Ganga Aarti, you will understand. As crying is very normal. We have to cry. People who don't cry, I don't know what to call them. But him crying. So he said number one place he visited that he loved was Varanasi, and that to Ganga Aarti. Number two is Mahabalipuram. The same year, Chennai was hit by floods, if you remember. And Mahabalipuram is a temple where worship does not happen. There is no worship in Mahabalipuram. And the entire temple complex was hit by the floods. So he went there and he sort of felt a very mystical silence and peace combined together. Peace need not be silence, silence need not be peace. He said that there was a mystical thing about this silence and the peacefulness that I felt there. He visited Taj Mahal, he visited Bombay, all the famous places, and he even went to God's own country, Kerala. But the top things that he listed were Varanasi, Gangarti, and Mahabalipuram. So he actually came back and told me what you said is true. That country is needs special eyes. So Dham also needs special eyes. I mean, nothing I said is anything that of my own, but I'm just repeating. Lilananda Prabhuji used to remind us all the time. He'll do again when we go to Vrindavan for Kartik Yatra. Most of you are coming with us. So it will be an amazing experience going with the devotees and knowing the significance and importance of the places that we are going to visit before we visit. These two things are going to make a world of a difference. That's all I wanted to share with all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Louise Mataji. Any questions, comments, supporting argument? Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The last point you said regarding the Venkateswara Swami, the name, I just didn't get that point.
Yeah, Mataji, the name, the definition of name, Venkateswara. Vain means in Sanskrit sins. Kata, cutting. Vain means papalu. And kata is who cuts through them. He can cut them. So Venkateswara is the one who can cut our sins that are unknowingly done. And he's the one who can take all our sins.
Understood.
Yeah, that's
yes. Thank you. Like I didn't know this point earlier.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Any other questions, comments, please?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Maybe I missed this point.
Yes.
Prabhuji, you said, see, basically the purpose Narayana came down to earth is to find Lakshmi Devi, right? And she was in the Kolhapur, wherever you said.
Yeah.
And
it was told.
Yeah. But where Lakshmi Devi is connected in the story, Prabhuji, maybe I might have missed it.
No. Lakshmi Devi is part of the story to enable two things, Prabhu. One, to have Vakula Mata do the marriage of Srinivasa, who she couldn't do, right? Second, to have him marry Vedavati, who helped him in the Treta Yuga. And Lakshmi Devi is the part of the story enabling this pastimes to happen.
Okay.
So Lakshmi Devi is his consort all the time. She is there with him all the time. There is no doubt about it. But by having Bhrugumuni come and kick him and Lakshmi Devi going away, it enabled him to come down as Srinivasa and to help two main important things. One is Vakula Mata being able to do the marriage of Srinivasa, which she was not able to do, and she wanted to do that. So he gave benediction to her. Second is to make him marry Vedavati.
But his question is, that is fine. Prabhuji's question is,
no, Lakshmi Devi
she went to Kolhapur, and then how did she come to Tirupati, or how did she?
No, she didn't. So Lakshmi Devi is there. Padmavati is here, but as you see, Lakshmi Devi is always on the chest of.
And Padmavati is part and parcel of Lakshmi.
Yes, she is another.
That's how we have to understand.
Avataras. She is one of the avatars of Lakshmi Devi herself.
So basically, Prabhuji, Lord found Lakshmi in Padmavati Devi.
Correct. So she is Lakshmi Devi herself.
That's how we connect the dots.
Yeah, she is Lakshmi Devi herself.
Yeah, he came in search of Lakshmi. He found Padmavati.
Yeah. Which is also a Sittavis avatar of Lakshmi Devi. But in this pastimes, she manifested herself as Padmavati, and Srinivas Kalyanam is what you see.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes. Shall I ask one more question, Prabhuji? Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure.
Prabhuji also says, like, when you go to Tirupati, you have to visit Govindarajala Swami temple. Sorry, Prabhuji, can you please give at least a little description about Govindarajala Swami?
So yes, Prabhuji, you must visit. I didn't put it in the list. I missed it. Yes, Govindarajala Swami is his elder brother, and he is in the Tirupati, and the temple is very near to the bus station. Yes, that's another place you must visit. And it's again Lord Venkateshwara, form of Lord Venkateshwara, another Venkateshwara avatara.
Actually, if you have seen TTD channel, Prabhuji, they do all the sevas that they do for Venkateshwara to Govindaraja Swami also. And my mother-in-law says Govindaraja Swami is much more attractive. That's how she feels. Actually, she always says, see, they do better alankara to him. Don't you think so? She keeps asking me. So it's equally, what do you say? Vaibhava Purita, like all the gorgeous, grand decorations that are done to Venkatesha also happens to Govindaraja.
Yeah, so I also don't know, Prabhuji, at this time what is the story of Govindaraja Swami. I'll have to find him. I didn't study much on that. But there's another temple you can visit.
It's very close to
next to the
railway station.
So just before getting on the train, you can visit. It's so
there
easy.
Is a Pushkarini also in front of his.
Correct.
Thank you, Prabhuji, and giving that Vedavali, all the Treta Yuga, that connection. We didn't know that. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Any other questions before we close this? We're already 8:52. So any last minute thoughts, comments, questions, please ask me. Otherwise, we can end there.
No questions, Prabhuji, but thank you for taking us to Tirupati and Tirumala.
Thank you, Shri Prabhu, for coming to class and listening to this. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Dandavat pranam. Thank you very much. Vancha kalptarabhyascha krupasindabhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namah. Ananta koti vaishnavamda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Venkatesh.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.